Hey everybody, it's Paul from Alexander Knife Sharpening and Laser Engraving, and it is time to get started on this Navy SEAL titanium dive and fighting knife. I have done a lot of testing, as I've mentioned in other things. I've shown the different titanium test sheets I've done. There's really no more testing I can do. I mean, it's just time to give it a shot and see if it comes out. I will say this to you guys, this is more of a project than I would put it in a category of make money or profit from this. Except if it turns out to be amazing, it could be very cool, and then I'll know how to do this, and maybe a bunch more Navy SEALs who happen to have this particular titanium dive knife send them to me to get them engraved. There are certain things that I take on that are just more of an interest than they are necessarily part of the business, and this is definitely one of them. I will take on jobs just to learn. I will take on jobs not necessarily with the goal of making money. In fact, I guarantee you by the time I'm done here, I'm probably not going to make anything on this. Just the titanium sheets alone that I purchased to do the test engravings are going to cost me probably close to what I would even charge to do this. It's just one of those things, like when I say before to you about I love laser engraving and I love just the challenge of it, that this is for a veteran. It's for a special forces member who I have huge respect for all our special forces members. And so this definitely falls into a personal project that I'm really hoping to get right, not necessarily a profit making type of job on this one. So with that out of the way, we're there, man. It's just time to see if we can get it done and see how it comes out. Research showed me, I went and used ChatGPT 5. Although this knife has literally no markings on it, which doesn't surprise me because a lot of times special forces don't want to have any type of markings that identify a country that they might be coming from or anything. If something gets left behind, there were no markings on it. But I was able to find the manufacturer. I was able to find out whether this blade is coated. It is not coated. And that was one thing that concerned me, because when I looked at it, I was like, is there a powder coating on this to protect it too? Did they powder coat it? It's actually bead blasted titanium. So they just bead blasted it to not give it a super reflective look, which titanium doesn't have a really big reflective look anyway. But if you look at the blade on the serrated part here, where there's no bead blasting, you can see it looks very similar to the titanium that I have here in my hand. This is not bead blasted. I am hopeful that our test grids will produce probably fairly close to the same color. I have locked my flexible fixtures into place. I will be able now to take my knife out, do what I need to do to it, and then come back here and put it right back in the exact same place without it moving. We'll see what goes from there. So the next part is just coating the blade. So I'm going to take it now and I'm going to coat it with the spray that's going to give me the black part of the engraving. All right, everybody, step one is done. I have coated the blade with Brilliance spray. I've used this, and I've also used ComMarker spray before. My can of ComMarker spray went bad, which was really disappointing because the stuff is crazy expensive. But I've actually had really great success with Brilliance spray too, and it's not quite as expensive and works really well. But the other thing, I've never had the can fail. So after you spray this and you have to put multiple coats on something, they tell you to turn it upside down and spray it till you see clear come out, and then you're good to go. And that keeps it from clogging, which I've always done with my ComMarker too, and my ComMarker still went bad. And my ComMarker bottle was literally like this little tiny thing about yay big, and it was like $50 for that. This was, I think, in the 40s, but it's like, a way bigger can. But after having that Surmark bottle fail, I think I'm going to stick with the Brilliance spray. Now, I don't need this stuff very often, but what it will give you is a very nice black mark on things. I have found that titanium, at least on my fiber laser, very difficult to get that black mark on. I tried lots and lots of different settings and I just wasn't quite getting what I wanted. But I did this test pattern here with Brilliance spray, and all of these looked really good. And in fact, this one right at about 82 on the speed, and let's see, our power was in the same range, about 75, 80, gave a really nice deep black mark. These three right here are very nice. So I think that's what we're going to go for the outline on here. So once again, what I'm going to do here is we're going to do the outline first. Then I'm going to have to dust off and clean off all of that spray. So I have to be able to get this thing perfectly in the same registration marks that it's in now, especially if I have to take it off to clean it. I haven't decided. I think I might try and clean it in place, but that's why you'll see here I've locked everything down. So I have all kinds of different little gadgets here holding my flexible fixtures in place so that I can get this back in the same spot. So it is level. This is focused already for this blade. And all I have to do now is actually just start doing the engraving. We're doing the black lines first. So it's the black outline. And then we're going to go to try and fill in that gold. And you can see how beautiful that looks. If we get that, I will be really psyched, But like I said, it's a toss-up. I don't know if it's going to happen. I don't know how the bead blasted titanium's going to react. So we'll see. I mean, we might not even get a black mark. Who knows? It could be, we might find out that it reacts even different with the Surmark spray on bead blasted titanium. It's just a complete toss-up. But here we go. Let's see what happens. Laser safety goggles are on. And here we go. All right, so far looking so good. This is kind of what we want out of the Surmark spray. We want to see black. When it works, it usually looks exactly like what you expect the mark to look like. So that's positive for our outline. Now, we could probably dust it off and just leave it. It would probably look pretty cool with a black outline, but if we can get the gold, that would just be the icing on the cake. All right, so now to clean off the white, we're going to get in there with some brushes and see if we can brush this off. I want to kill the LED, the outline. That does not look black to me at all. Not even the slightest bit. So here's how I told you. It looks cool, but it is definitely not black. It looks like what it did was remove the bead blasting. It's definitely engraved in there. I'm going to clean it off with something else. Something wet, because I want to see if we have any kind of black mark under there that we're not seeing that maybe is under that like kind of whitish gray mark. You will often hear me tell you how difficult it is to do one-off items, and this is a perfect example of why. And even though I tried to do everything I could to eliminate it not working out, you can see we got a result completely different than the titanium sheets gave us. And I knew this was potentially what could happen. I mean, thickness and the material could be just a very different titanium makeup. So I kind of knew this going in, that it was a long shot. We hoped we could get a black mark and we hoped we could get the gold. But fortunately, I explained all this very well to my client. And this is why it's very important to be able to talk to your clients and manage expectations when it comes to laser engraving. All right. So that absolutely did not turn out the way we wanted. We have almost a white engraving. It didn't black mark it at all, which is really interesting. So now what I'm thinking is, let's do a cleaning pass. Just start doing with what we're going to do is just do some things that we know might work, but we won't push it too far. So we're going to go, right now I'm just going to go with a cleaning pass and see how it looks. Let's clean this out. Maybe we can start doing maybe kind of a deep etching, because it looks pretty cool subdued like this. And I don't know that I want to push and try and get that gold color. So I think what I'm going to do here is look to see if what a couple cleaning passes will do to what we currently have, because it definitely removed the bead blasting. All right, so the good news is I don't feel like we've lost registration. Everything there looks good, even though we didn't get the black we wanted. So what I did was I cut the power in half. I raised my frequency up to 60, and I'm just going to do what we call a cleaning pass and see if this improves it any, and see what kind of results we get from this. How bizarre. It looks like we're getting our black outline. It's just so crazy. But this is what you deal with when you're dealing with different metals, and when you don't have one to test on. Just because you test on some titanium doesn't mean you're going to get exactly the same results. That's actually looking really quite good. Oh, what to do. So we have a pretty cool mark. I just don't know if we can get the gold. I just don't know. I took a couple pictures of the knife. I reached out to my client, showed him the results, and he loved it. And I told him I had big concerns about us trying to get the gold, because it didn't react at all like we expected it to compared to the titanium sheets. So we made the decision to just leave it be. I cleaned and polished up the entire knife with Flit's tactical knife finish, and you can see it came out really great. And actually, after it was all done, on a subdued knife that's been bead blasted to keep any reflections down, I actually thought it looked more appropriate for it anyway. So did my client. He felt the same way. He was like, dude, that looks awesome. And we just decided we're not going to risk it, because God knows we would be really unhappy if we tried to go for that gold color and got like a pink or just something that just would not look right or intentionally done to this knife. So we are leaving it as it is. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, right? I mean, what more can we say? We just kind of got lucky this time. And, that's part of laser engraving. Sometimes you got to throw caution to the wind. And as long as you manage your client's expectations, it usually works out just fine. At least been my case in working with my clients. Hope you enjoyed this one. And I just wanted to show you that sometimes things don't work out the way you have planned. That is for sure.